Hello. Testing, testing, testing. Getting this sorted out. Sharing the link. Alright, let's see if we can get this up and running here. Now we're cooking with kerosene. Got some live camera. Hopefully it will turn on. There it goes. Awesome. I'm going to grab the mechs off the printer real quick. Sunshine machine. Show them off in all of their glory here. Printing like a maniac. Let's see here. Hopefully it's not too loud in here. Boom. We're good. We're going. Man, I need to shave. Getting pretty woolly here. You can see just the epic ton of mechs that have been printed. One of the Marauders didn't quite turn out. He's got a funky arm. Oh! He's got a funky arm, but I think I'm going to do some surgery with this Warhammer 2C with its crummy arm. I think I'm going to put that arm on that mech. Because why not? Why not? Do what I want. Do what I want. Alright, let's see if that tweet posted. It did, it's going. Alright. Posted in Discord. Just in case people want to hang out. In case. Alright, good to go. $423. Where is that? Where'd it go? Made a thing and now it's gone. Oh well, it's gone. It came and it went. Anyway. Alright, got quite a few mechs. I'm printing them like mad. I've got a plan for my Battletech buddies. So I know they're not listening, so I can tell them they are going to be getting a drop of mechs for their Christmas present this year. And so I'm going to see if I can significantly increase their supply of mechs. That's why so many of these are doubles. So they'll each get one, get an Atlas and a Cataphract and Highlanders, so on and so forth. Chargers, get the Mad Cats, the Mark II, got a Mad Dog, the other one didn't turn out, and a couple of Wolfhounds, Archers, so good stuff. We'll get the next batch is already underway, and just kind of keep it going until I run out of resin, and we'll see how many mechs I can get out of this. All right. How you doing, Crypto Monkey? Staying out of trouble? Just keep shaking the camera here until I'm in just the right place to hit with my hat, because you guys know how it works. Got these bugs that need to be done. Look suspiciously like a certain alien race of scarabs, but I did dry brushing on these two. Got some detail work. I'm going to make their little eyes glow green here in a minute. God, if I can help it. Yeah, got these kind of sneaky looking boys. They are all washed in Agrax Earthshade, and then I can dry brush them. And probably have to redo the sword here once I'm done dry brushing, because that's going to get scuffed up. But these guys are cool. Don't have bases for them yet, but they're cool. Alright, and that's pretty much what's on the slate. Got like 50 different projects all underway. Oh, and the D&D figures that my son bought for his character, Dragonkin, I think is the name, or Dragonborn? Dragonkin, I think. Wait, where's the box? Dragonborn. Paladins. And so I'm doing the base coats for those. So he'll have 2 versions of himself that he can bring to his little D&D club. Which is cool. I'm kind of honored to do those for him. Kind of cool. I count it as a commission, right? If you do it for free for a family member, that counts. No, I don't know. He's at least base coated. I'll hit him with a wash here, and it'll look 1,000 times better. These D&D figs, the line is still there, are neat. Focus. They're neat. The price point is great, but you can tell you kind of get what you pay for. The plastic is pretty flimsy, and there are mold lines everywhere. And this is like post mold line, and I can still see the remnants of one there I missed on this chainmail. So that one's cool. Yeah, it's really cool that started up, because he's the new kid in school in the district, and so again we moved halfway across the state. Well, pretty much all the way across the state. So no friends. So D&D club is kind of like here's your instant group of friends, and you have something in common, and you get to play a really cool game. So I'm a little jealous because he's playing D&D, and I still have yet to play. I've listened to it played and watched it played many times, but I've never actually played it myself. Well, that's cool. All right, I have no idea what I want to do first. Just sit here in awe of this gigantic pile of mechs. Good times. So what should I do? Base coating's kind of boring. Could do the eyes on these guys. Let's do the eyes on those guys, because that's more fun than base coating or dry brushing. And we get to bust out the acrylic ink, because I love that. Yeah, it's great that they have that opportunity. I'm glad we don't live in a world where parents are freaking out about D&D anymore. It's good. Lime green. I'll get this up and running. Color some eyes green. Boop. Don't need very much of it. We're so close to being done with this basement remodel. It's crazy close. Got all the floors in this week. Got bump the light drink. We're playing the hat hitting the light drinking game at home. All the floors in this week. All we need is the baseboards in 2 of the rooms, and they'll be done. And then finishing the big bookcases in the great room. And then the 6-month project to finish 3 rooms will be done. A project that really should have taken 2 months. But I'm not bitter. Just drop in that green ink in the little eye slots there, and that's a nice little contrast. So you see the little swarm of boogies. You can see I already hit it with that dry brush, so it's caught all those edges, which is awesome. And it is an admittedly minimalist scheme, right? Just hitting it with a base color, red, brown, and then dry brushing for most of the body, and then hitting. But I think for what it is, this robotic army, that they're not going to have a whole lot of flair, and it makes sense that they're minimalist. And this ancient robots that are coming to come break your stuff and probably help you shuffle the mortal coil. I'm playing Hunt the Eyes here. I find every eye in the pack of bugs without hitting the sides. It's like a game of operation here. Oh, that looks cool. Cool. Turn right here. Hopefully get a better. There you go. A little brighter. Camera shaky. How is the sound? Do you hear the fan that's going on in the background? If it's annoying, I can turn it off. But it gets hot. Unexpectedly hot in this room. So I've got kind of closed it off from the rest of the basement so I could have a little private hobby space. So it's got the furnace in it too. And now 2 computers are running. One of them is just a F mining machine. And then one of them is of course running the stream. But it gets a little toasty in here. A little warm. Which I guess is a good thing going into winter. But it's going to be interesting at summertime. You don't hear the fan good. Just leave it on then. Focus. Gosh. I'm determined to focus on everything except what I'm holding right in front of the camera. Focus. There's something modern kids will never understand in a classroom. When you like bust out the reel-to-reel, and the teacher sets it up, and the focus is just off. And so there's always that one kid in class, focus. I guess it's possible with a overhead with a projector, but usually it's an autofocus dealio. All right, phone, be quiet. It's like, I'm pretty sure you wanted to focus on this right here, not the thing right in front of the lens. No. There you go. Yeah, that would just be crazy. Why would you want to look at that? So many little dots. That's cool. I'm loving this. These little guys. So when they're on display on the shelf, I have, I think, nine packs of these, and I'll probably print 9 more and just have them surrounding the Robot Legion army. These nice little helper robots. I like that there's different types in there, and it's not just the same scarab over and over. So I keep saying scarab because, but nice little round boys, and kind of all long ones, and then kind of egg-shaped ones in there too. Plenty of variation within the pack. And then there's 3 different versions. So this one you can see different than the first. Oh, that one has like an air bubble that maintained a perfect circle in the middle. Maybe I should keep that. That's kind of cool. I don't know. I think I better fill it in. I'm having so much fun with the Robot Legion, I haven't even gotten around to printing the other army at OnePageRules did the mummy one. I can't remember the name of it. Like undead something or other. But I'll get around to it. Once I'm done printing every battle mech I can, twice. Alright, I think that was one. Let's do the other guys. Oh, drink. Digging the look at these guys, that's for sure. It's been funny this past week. Everyone's like, Black Templar, Black Templar, and I'm like, I'm just painting robots. I'm good. Kind of glad I skipped that one. Could have bought a box of Black Templar. Gosh, you know what? You can see the fingerprints on this resin print. You can see the little lines that look like fingerprints. Those are the lines that the printer makes. But on these, it almost looks like a grain of wood or a grain in the metal. So it almost has the like you would see on a sword, like a Damascus steel sword, that grain in the metal. That is really cool. That is really cool. I think I need to tell my son to get off the internet. We are getting buffered. 1 second. Text him. What a second. Sorry. Can you make sure the graphics Alright, hopefully it's got that fixed. Don't do that. Alright. What was I doing? Painting eyeballs. There. Yeah, so same money that would have gone to buying Black Templars went to buying the resin to print an entire army of robots. So I think I made the right choice. Or at least the cost-effective choice. Because I have enough robots coming out of the wazoo here. Probably paint all the way to Christmas and not run out of robots with what I've already printed. It's not even all of the units. So someone was complaining about the price of these 3D printing Patreons where people are coming up with models. Like, you get so much that you couldn't possibly paint it faster than it's being produced. So $10 a month for as many models as you can paint. And if you don't like it, just go do a different one or cancel your membership, because they all let you know what's coming, and if it doesn't interest you, you cancel your thing. I think I've probably, and I bought other ones off of my mini factory from the Robot Legion stuff that came out before I was a Patreon, and and with the discount you get for being a Patreon, it's $3 for a STL file. We're okay. So I print it out. It takes about $3 worth of resin, say, to print these 3 guys. About $3 worth of resin, plus $3 more for the STL file. So $6 for a unit, or you can go buy a box of some other company's robots and pay $60 for the same thing. Currently I'm just on 2, and that's plenty for me at the moment. I got the OnePageRules stuff and Nova Minis. And between the 2 of them, I've got the sci-fi and the fantasy stuff pretty much locked. There's no way I could print and paint it fast enough. I'm already way behind, and so I've only been doing each one for 2 months. So we'll see. It's just going to keep piling up. I'm going to paint this Timberwolf. There's a good looking mech. If the camera will focus. No, still got some supports in there that need to get pulled out. But there's a good looking mech. Everybody loves the turkey legs. Alright, what was he doing? Alright, so the scarabs are done and drying. Let's hit that eye again because it's doing the hole in the middle thing. Because it isn't doing it consistently. If it did it to all of them, I would leave it. Focus. If it was doing it to all of them, I would leave it. But it's only doing it to every other few of them. If it was consistent, I would have left it. Oh, drink. Alright. Let's get the dry brushing on these guys done. Because I want to do their blades. Get good variation. Here we get between the two-handed and two-dagger version. Pretty awesome. Get close. Focus. You know what it is? It's still doing that kind of fingerprint thing. You can barely make it out on his head. I just think that's cool in the middle, because when you cover it, it gives it just a little bit of texture, and it's not like printing in ABS or PLA plastic where each line is distractingly large. This just gives it that slight little bit of like real world texture. Come on, focus. A little bit of slight real world texture, like you would expect from metal that had been kind of weathered, had been out for a while. In this case, if they've been hibernating for millions of years, and you have all those the elements working on them from a certain Warhammer army that's known for taking a very long nap. All right, let's do some dry brushing on those 3. What have you printed lately, Crypt Monkey? I'm completely, utterly fascinated with what other people are printing, so I'm like checking Twitter all the time, like, oh, what are they printing? What are they printing? Where'd you get that? And then fighting the urge. What are the robots based in? They are, you mean the base coat that's just this surface primer, the German red brown, and then I did very lightly over the top a what was the red? It was that's an acrylic red ink over the top, just to give it a slight, almost like a red zenithal. It's a little hard to see on camera, but it helps with the light. And then over the top of it, did Earthshade. Finished the Forest Dragon from Dragon Trapper's Lock. That's awesome. I want to paint more dragons. I've got that big boy. There's that big boy here. I started on this guy. He's massive. But the next step, I got to hit him with the wash, and that is going to be a thing where I end up using half the jar of Agrax Earthshade. So I'm not looking forward to that. Yeah, I'm really happy with the red. It came out in such a deep red that it. And if I was going for that, I was going for that Roman Legion look. Like if the Roman Empire hadn't fallen, and they somehow ended up with robotics technology, they would create robots that looked like this. At least that was the goal. So they're rocking the purple. These guys. These guys are rocking the purple and gold and red, a deep red. Focus. There you go. Not super happy with how the cape went out, but that's right. I'm not gonna lose sleep over it. Kind of a generous brush. The idea that the red is wearing away, and exposing the kind of gold underneath on these robots as they go out and conquer. The only downside of these figures is they have all these little sharp things on them, so I'm just constantly stabbing myself on it. We bleed for our hobbies. I had stabbed myself with an airbrush needle the other day, and it was like super deep. And I'll just casually reach across, and the pin was sticking up in the cup because I'm dumb, and down it went on there. I learned a valuable lesson about not being dumb. Don't be dumb. Alright, so he's looking pretty good. And again, it's a messy look because you want it to look like he's like it's not a planned thing. Like the wear and tear on these things is what's driving that color change, not a plan. Oh yeah, that is a great one for anytime you're going to do a base coat with like a warm color like red. This is better than black or white. If you're dealing with white, you got to deal with the fact that red kind of looks pink, but with a brown or reddish brown, then it just helps everything on top. If it's a warm color, even you could even mix this with white and make it a lighter brown and work with something like orange. That's what I would do if I was going to do some more orange marines. I would instead of going black or white. The German dark yellow. No, I haven't seen that one. I'll have to look it up. I'm definitely going to. As far as saving time, I think changing up the if they've got surface primers and colors you're going to use anyway, then golly, save yourself some time and just prime them in the color you need. Like I've got the bunch of AdMech. I've got that Combat Patrol for AdMech, and that's going to save a ton of time on that because I'm do that Martian red. It's gonna be good. Oops. Oh, a lot of paint. Just gonna hit the edges. Oop. Yeah, so definitely looking at Vollejo as getting little surface primers, because again I was doing black and white for a very long time. Why waste the time Prime it in what you need. I know some people talk down on talk poorly of dry brushing, but golly, is there a quicker way to catch the edges on something than to hit with the dry brush? Like, I'm sure I could sit down and use the gold paint and hit every edge of that very carefully, but it would take 100 times as long and really wouldn't look that good. So I've never understood the hate on dry brushing. Perfectly valid painting tactic. And I think it looks awesome, especially for stuff that looks worn. You're going for that kind of random impacted look. It will work. Like most things in certain game universes like Warhammer 40k, you want stuff to look kind of crappy, like it's been out in battle. In the case of the Necrons, or you want something to look like it's been around for a while. Like I kind of I don't know if maybe I don't really like it when I see things that are like ancient, like Terminator armor, and they have it done up like it's brand new. Like that armor has been around for likely 10,000 years of use between all the different Marines who may have used it and been pulled out of it and replaced by the next Marine to take it. Those should look, unless you're going on parade and they just repainted it, they should look like they've seen a battle. But that's just personal preference. If you like it new, that's good too. Not going to tell anybody how to paint their minis. I think I would be more intimidated by an army that looked grizzled and well fought and experienced than I would an army that's brand new and wearing all their fancy parade gear. That looks pretty good. Looked like they were originally painted that dark red, and it's just been worn away by centuries of sitting around or centuries of fighting. Not gonna complain. Alright, let's get that put away. Also got the Lance of Karita mechs here, but painting them is kind of boring because I'm just hitting them with iron color right now, so that's not super interesting. It's like that's a project I do when I'm waiting for something else to dry. Get these 4 mechs done. Hopefully I get them done this weekend and get our video up. We'll see. This is Dawn, just jumping on the dry brushing comment. Love it. It only works fast, also looks supernatural. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, if you're doing it right, if you're doing it in kind of sparingly, though I have seen I've seen models where the dry brusher goes in and it's almost like a wet brush, where they hit every single thing, and by the end of it, it's almost like a why is my brain funking on this? It must be Friday. But they hit every high edge so hard that it just leaves the grooves, and so it's almost like doing a wash, but it leaves that base color in all the grooves, and then you have such a heavy dry brush that the model is mostly whatever that dry brush color was. So I've seen that done a couple of times and it looks really cool. So I guess it just depends on the look you're going for. I love these guys. That's so much cooler than just giving them legs. You constantly build up colors, layers and layers and layers. You know, definitely. All right. Let's do some white on the blades. I have to replace my pad here soon. A little messy. Your highlights look amazing. Oh yeah, thank you. Trying to just enough to be worn. Aged robots. I think that would be terrifying. Like, these robots have been around since time has been a thing. All right. Let's see here. Where's my white? There it is. So, I think I mentioned this before, and I'm going to keep mentioning it, but because it's awesome. This is the best white I've ever used, and just from getting coverage, and you can put this on black, and within 2 coats, if it was like if you're working like Abaddon black or something, 2 coats, this is pretty much bright white. So just the pigment is intense, and yeah, definitely recommend it. Saves a ton of time. Or else painting these blades would be a chore, and thankfully not too bad. Alright, let's get that cleaned off. Alright, let's paint some blades. Already hit this guy. Let's see if I have to redo it. There's some spots in there that need some love. I better just redo it. Drink, hit the camera. Just redo it. Dry brushing hit it, so it's dulled a bit. So we'll just do it over again. It's alright. How you doing, crease? In the crease. Thanks for coming by, Crypt Monkey. Appreciate it. Just hanging out, staying out of trouble. I'm just gonna go over this just because it got sprayed a little bit with the dry brushing. I'm going to do something special on these ones that I didn't do on the others. But I'll hit it with that ink, that green ink, so it'll look like that. But then partially up the blades, I'm going to hit it with, where's that contrast? The Aethermatic Blue, which will give it some variation in there. And this one's such a light contrast paint, it's not going to overwhelm the green underneath. So it really comes out, giving it almost like an ocean look, kind of a bluish green tint, which I think is really cool. I've done it on previous Necrons, and I will just keep the trend going here with these Robot Legion. Real quick, this isn't like a technically challenging act, just coating it white here, and then I'm going to go over the top with lime green. Stray. interesting week, that's for sure. A lot of legal experts on Twitter this week, that's for sure. It's just so much fun when some event happens and everyone's an expert. Everyone's got their offering their 2 cents. Just gonna have to sit back and laugh. It's like you argue with some of these people. Well, why bother arguing with them? They're not going to change their mind. You're not going to change your mind, so why bother? It's not worth it. I remember reading some research talked about how trying to convince people of something usually just entrenches them in their original position even worse, because people are so emotionally invested in belief structures. That's interesting. Your intent is to convince, but really all you've done is driven them further into the corner. Human psychology is fun. Alright, his blade. Oh, I missed the back there. We don't paint in sub-assemblies, no. We just get creative. We did hear an interesting argument for not doing sub-assemblies recently. She was explaining that she realized she was spending lots and lots of time on stuff that no one would ever see. And so she decided to stop doing sub-assemblies and just paint it complete, even if you miss something on the internals. If no one's ever going to see it, and you don't care if it's not going to nag your mind, and you're going to lay awake at night like, I didn't paint the inside of that guy's cape. As long as it's not going to haunt you, then don't waste your time. Unless you're a perfectionist and you need everything to look awesome. It's going to nag on my mind that Death Watch guy has a cape that's not fully painted on the inside. Lay awake at night. Your brain is alternating between thinking about that really embarrassing thing you did in middle school and the fact that cape, that Death Watch cape, is not quite done. And it's always at 2 a.m. You're trying to sleep and you can't sleep, and your brain's like, oh yeah, do you remember that embarrassing thing you did in high school? Why would you remember that? Nagging of the mind is the worst from an artistic process. Can't say how many times I go. Yeah, it's... when I get into that kind of mode, I just have to remind myself why I'm doing this. Like, get into hobbying, get back into painting after years and years. You're doing it to help your health, not to drive yourself crazy. So if you're going nuts, it's something that's driving you mad, then it's not the point for why I'm doing this. So it gives me not good perspective to step back and say, all right, if this is frustrating me, then just put it aside and do something else for a while, or come back to it later with a more chill perspective. And I'm not a perfectionist when it comes to models. Sometimes it's just a matter of, all right, I've put enough effort into this. It's if I keep going, I'll either make it better or I'll ruin it. And so I need to cut my losses